Hey Brandon, we're going to discuss installing shift bushings, and what we've got here is obviously your shift lever is right here with your shift ball on top, and then this is your turtle that bolts to the floor, and then right here we've got the long tube that is what goes on the transmission tunnel and dovetails to the transmission hump. And this is ordinarily under rubber, but it could also be under carpet. I think you mentioned you've got carpet on yours. And so what we need to do is get these all naked, and then you're going to have some self-tapping screws with a hex head holding this this cover in place. Remove the cover. It may be stuck a little bit on the insulation, so the cover is gone. And what is revealed is what we have here in this picture. This is our shift lever assembly, and all the parts going to the top of the transmission. And so what you're going to do next is you're going to unscrew the turtle. You've got 3 bolts holding it to the floor. And once you unscrew it, you will then want to go down to the end of the transmission shift lever, which is right here, and that is attached obviously to the transmission right here. At this point, it's attached to the transmission like this, and you're going to have a bolt going through here. This is very difficult to do. No wonder I'm not in the film industry or the motion picture industry. You've got a bolt going through here, and the bolt only goes through one way. It's got a pretty good shoulder on it, and then it tapers down to the threaded end here. And so the bolt only goes in one way. And you're going to have a castellated nut on it, which means it uses a cotter pin. And ordinarily what you can do is just unscrew the nut off of the bolt and shear off the cotter pin. Then you can dig it out later on, as I've done here. This one you can see there, well, maybe you can't see it, but there's a hole right there, but the cotter pin is left in it. Otherwise, remove the cotter pin. And then, oh, even before you do that, I forgot to mention, what you want to do is shift into first or third, and what that does is as you push the shift lever this way, it kicks this rod backwards, and is going to pull out this eyelet right here where you can get to it easier, because you're going to be going through a little hole in the firewall, and so you want to kick this back so it gets it closer to you. So once you've got this rod disconnected, you will then have this whole assembly in your hands. Just, the whole thing is like this, and you're going to want to unbolt this assembly from the top of the turtle, and this whole thing is going to come off, and it's going to come apart because your shift ball is sandwiched in between here, and that's where all those crumbly looking things, oh, I forgot to mention, obviously you got to pull your shift knob off at some point. That's where all these crumb looking things, cork looking things are coming from. It's these nylon washers that are crumbling, and what you're going to do is dig out the old material. Alright, so you're going to dig out the old material. Just use a screwdriver or a punch or something, because this stuff is going to be stuck in there, something fierce. And what you do is you're going to put the new material in there. Obviously one way is square, one way is round to catch the oval on the shift lever. And then you put the other one in. Also, you're going to have a wave washer that's stuck inside there. It may even look like it's part of the the steel, but anyway, you got to have that wave washer in there. Put your other ball in here, the other nylon, and then you're going to reassemble. And obviously one way is up and one way is down. That's because this up part is where the shift bushing, the shift lever rubber, the shift boot goes. So you're going to want to stab this down through here, and then this guy goes on top like this, and you bolt them together. And then as one unit, you can then, it will then bolt, well, let's see, I'm trying to think, remember, it's been a while. Okay, so you bolt these together on top of the turtle. That's right. Even before that, what you may want to do is, let's see, now you want to do that, and then, that's right, and then once you've got this bolted in place, you will turn it over, and you're going to attach, I'm going to take this off for ease, well, just leave it alone, and you're going to attach the shift lever to this long rod, this long tube right here. And that uses these are both 7mm bolts, so they're going to be an odd size, so it's going to take an 11mm wrench to undo them. Now, part of the plastic bushings that secure the shift lever to the rod look like these little guys right here. Now, believe it or not, these usually don't wear out too badly, but once you're in there, you just might as well replace all of them. So I've already installed these two bushings right here, and then you install this right here like this. These two bushings pop in there like that, and then you're going to put your bolt through here with the big flat washers on your side. And this uses again a castle nut, which means you have to wind it around until you get the castellated parts of the nut lined up with the cotter pin hole, and that also is what you're going to be doing. At the same time, you'll be setting your drag as to how much this is going to move up and down. Now, what we've done is I just get nylock nuts, which you probably can get in a hardware store, but I can send you some. But I just use nylock nuts, which makes it easier. You just screw them until you get your preload and your drag on the shift lever, and then boom, you're there. Now then, for the whole assembly to the transmission, I'm going to stick this in the tube, this tube on the into the hole in the firewall, and what you've got is these bushings right here go on either side like this, and you can see you got this part of the shift rod, and that just slips over here, and you're going to use your soldered bolt, run it through here. I understand this is easy on the table because you're on your passenger's footwell, leaning over and working through a little about a 4-inch diameter hole, and you run this through here and put your castellated nut on it, and boom, there you are. Let's see if I can even. Alright, there it is. And then you set your preload either with your castellated nut and your cotter pin, or the nylock, which allows you to set your preload. And that's what I'm trying to get my macro here, or close up. Anyway, that's what it's going to look like. And then you're going to obviously have all your turtle and everything bolting to bolt onto the floor, and that's pretty much it. It's not terribly difficult, and the reason for these two things here to bolt together on top is because once you bolt them together, you make a little flange right here, and that's where your chrome shift lever snaps in place over the rubber boot. So, I hope that helps a little bit. If you have any questions, simply ask. All right, thanks and good luck.